In the previous video in this series, I showed you how we could create and make this layout here using a template in the Studio application looking like this. In this video, I'm going to show you how we can make a template like this using the various frames and functions available in Studio. The example that we create from scratch, I will try to make it look as close to this as possible. However, keep in mind I'm not noting down the exact sizes for these frame boxes with text, so we will try and make it as close as possible. First thing we will need to do is clear the layout so we can start fresh. To do so, you want to access the Clear Layout option here in the toolbar, or via the View menu, Clear Layout. When this pop-up comes, you want to say yes to confirm that you want to proceed, and it will remove everything from the layout area, including your mock-up media page width and height. Now, because we're going to start from scratch, I'm going to have to enter the media width and height again. So my media was 42 centimeters by 33 centimeters. As you can see, I'm actually in inches mode, but by typing in the measurement unit after my value, so for example, if I do 42 cm, it will automatically translate that to whichever measurement unit I'm using in Studio. Now that that's done, you can see it's actually placed the page size mock-up here in my layout area, so I can now create the color box by going to the Edit menu, Create Color Box. This will place a 1 by 1 inch color box with a black color value into the layout area. I can now adjust that to be whichever size I like. I can either type in my values here, or I can try and resize it using the mouse and various resizing functions. Because I need this to be an exact value, I'm going to enter in the width and height, and these values are going to be 41 centimeters because I want it to be the width of my job, and the height is going to be 32 centimeters. I would like this to be positioned roughly 1/2 centimeter or centered on the paper layout area. To do so, I can try and do it by eye and manually, which may or may not be exact. To be exact, go to the frame panel, and in the left and the top fields, I want to put 1/2 centimeter for it to be offset from the left by 1/2 centimeter, and I want it to be offset from the top by 1/2 centimeter. So as you can see, it's now positioned it relatively center to my media width and height. Next, I want to lock that or pin it in place so that I can't accidentally move it by clicking on it and selecting Pin Frame. What this will do is it will position the frame and pin it so you can't accidentally move it. So you can see here I'm trying to drag it, I can't. That just means that if I click on and off, I'm not going to accidentally move it by clicking and dragging at the same time. But I do still need to change the color. So I'm going to go to my frame panel here, Style, Marker, and the ... box that's next to it. This is the properties pop-up for the box that I've just created. So I'm to click that, and in here I can see it's a color box, and the color of it is RGB 000, which is black. I want to change this to white, so I can drag the values, or you can type 255 and say save. Now this has changed the color box to white, which will make it act as though it is paper, and it won't actually print white. It will just allow me to add crop marks to it so that I can have this as the base of my layout. Now I want to add the crop marks by clicking the crop mark box here, and you can see it's added a visual, so I can tell just by glancing that this box here has had crop marks added to it. And this will now allow me to have my job output with these crop marks here at the very bottom. The template that we're creating here needs to have this color box at the bottom with the crop marks, because one of the functions in Studio is crop marks, but you cannot put crop marks around an entire job, especially when there are multiple frames involved. So for example, this job here, when it is output, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different frames in it. And if I wanted to crop mark the entire job, it's not possible. So in order to get around this, we put the color box at the very bottom, like this here, and this acts as the base for the entire job. If you are submitting a job outside of the Studio application, you can utilize the crop marks effects that are available in the job ticket and under the effects section here. So the rendering effects crop marks would add a crop mark to your entire job. However, Studio does not recognize this particular rendering effect and therefore will ignore it if you are using this in your job ticket. So as mentioned previously, for this particular layout, not all layouts, but for this particular layout, I'm creating this color box at the very bottom, and it will act as a base for me to place things onto, and will therefore allow me to crop mark the entire job. Continuing on, I want to deselect, and I want to create the frames for my BMW image, my logos, and the text files. The easiest way to create a layout is by dragging and dropping your asset files and then resizing them to fit the area that you would like them to be printed in. To do so, I'm going to select the main image here, drag and drop it. You can see it's dropping it at native size, which is quite large, so I'm just going to zoom out so you can see how big this file is compared to the printable area. So that's my printable area, and this is the file size. So I'm going to select an edge and just resize it so I can now zoom back in and work with my layout area. Okay, now the BMW image, I want it to be exactly the same width as the color box underneath it. And you can click on the color box and tell from its frame size how wide it is here. So I want to make this frame the exact same width as this frame. To do so, I want to note down the width of my image for the color box. Then I want to select the BMW image and make sure that these properties here are locked, and then I want to enter the value that I took from my color box width, because I didn't want to change the aspect of this image, which is why I locked the frame width and height. Now I want to position this at the same location as the top and left of the white box that's underneath. To do so, you can try and do it by eye. If you can't quite manage, you can see where you are here in the frame top and left fields. You click on the color box, you can see I need to be at 0.197 inches or half a centimetre for each of those values for the BMW. So I need to select the BMW frame and type in either 0.5 centimetres or 0.197 inches, and it will move and position the frame. Once it's in position and I don't need to edit it any further, I'm going to pin it so I can't accidentally move it, and clicking off and clicking on again isn't going to accidentally drag it out of place. The next one I would like to place is my Serendipity logo. So I'm going to select it, drag, and just drop. Because this frame underneath the BMW has content already, it's not going to try and place this in it as well, it's going to place it on top. So now I'm free to move this wherever I like, position it. Once I'm happy with where it is, I can pin by using the pin frame option in the toolbar, and again it won't accidentally move if I click on and off. I can't drag it. Next one I want to place is my logo here for the BMW 3 Series. I'm going to drag and drop in the relative location. As you can see, again, it's quite a large file and I don't need it to be that large, so I'm just going to resize by using the mouse on a corner and dragging, position slightly where I'd like it to be. And it's about there. Okay, I'm happy with that. Pin so I can't accidentally move it. Next one will be the BMW brand logo. Drag and drop. Again, it's quite large, so I need to resize it. Selecting the corner with the mouse, we'll resize and keep scale. Put that there. Okay, I'm positioning and I'm happy with where it is, so I'm just going to pin it. Now I have this text, pre-made text file. I'm going to drag and drop. And I need that to go in this center section here. And you can see it's slightly pixelated. All the images are slightly pixelated. That's standard. Any files used in Studio will always be at a lower resolution than the actual file. As this is just previewing the images, it's easier to process the layouts using a lower resolution, but when you submit the job to print, it will appear at the proper resolution of the file. Okay, now I need to pin this file as well. Now I need to create the two text boxes, so one that will go under here and one that will go up here on top of this car image. So we'll do the first one. We go to the edit menu, create text box. You'll see this text will appear. This is the default text options. To edit this, we go to the frame panel of the box properties, and next to the style drop down you can see this ... box, which is the properties for the item, and we want to change this to be the text we want to appear. So for this one we want BMW M3 Coupe. I'm choosing Helvetica as the font, and I would like it to be a particular color, which is this one here. I'm just going to enter in the values, say save. Now I need to resize this by just selecting the corner and dragging it. Once I'm happy with the size, I'm just going to zoom in a bit and move the frame down to its position and make it slightly smaller. Okay, once I'm happy with where it is, pin it and make sure to deselect and create a new text frame. So edit, create text box. This is the text box here. I want to go to the frame panel again and the options and adjust the text to be from BMW sales team, and I would like the color to be white. As you can see, I'm in CMYK still, it doesn't matter. I could change to RGB, save. Now I want to resize, roughly that, and position. I'm just going to move across so I can see my full layout. Okay, now I'm happy with where that is. It may not be exactly the same as the previous one, but I'm just showing you roughly the layout. I'm happy with where that is. I'm going to pin it so I don't accidentally move it. And just zoom out so I can see the whole layout. Looks good. And now I can save my template. I'll call it BMW layout new. Say OK. So now I have saved everything that's currently in the layout area. So if I needed to reload this, or if someone else needed to use it, I could save this and export it. Someone else could load it into their studio and they could use the template as it is now. Okay, so now I can print this by selecting the print icon in the toolbar. Select my page setup, media and job ticket, and give it a name, BMW new layout, and submit it to print or output. It will go to my job queue, and you can see here it's being processed. Once it's processed, we can have a look at the output job. Okay, now that it has finished processing, I can see here it's the new one. This was the previous one. I can view the printed preview, or I can go to the actual output location, and you can see here the job name matches the one I've just done. Right click, preview Serendipity client, which will open up the actual output file into my softproof window, and I can see relatively close, slightly different sizing for the texts, as you can see here and here. Now going back to Studio, I can show you the saved template we just made here. So if I clear the layout and load template, so if I choose the BMW layout new, which is the one we just created, you can see everything that we did here. All of the boxes and frames are all there. The media width and height is there, and if I needed to, I could just drag and drop and know that the layout is exactly as I need it, and it's just a matter of putting the appropriate files in. In the next video in this series, I'm going to show you how easy it is to create a step and repeat layout, and also show you how you can do a bulk drag and drop